Yeah. Imagine that every day.
No.
My wife has to deal with it. I don't. So she does. And then my mom picks them up. So.
Well,
And then when I pick them up, I'm late.
I have 3 kids that are involved in many other things besides just coming to school. I am back and forth to this town 2, 3, 4 times a day sometimes. So I can't imagine having to run somewhere else and further and do all that.
And the thing about it, when I went to Kobe, the other thing I'll say is when I taught in Kobe and I left Athens, I followed the red lights out of this town all the way to 97. And there's one point where you can see red lights all the way if you leave here at 6:30. There is not very many businesses that are bringing cars back. I wasn't meeting cars coming back. I was seeing cars leave. So that, I would say, I guess, I know there was a thing about Dorchester. There's a lot of businesses in Dorchester. That is one of the big differences from Athens and Dorchester. Dorchester is, yeah, are there people still living in Dorchester? But they got factories there, and the school districts, Abbotsford, a lot of the people open a roll in Dorchester because it is 3 miles away. Go to Abbotsford for that reason. So I'm just trying to state my life experiences, and I hope that you guys vote yes. And I don't know how many no voters are here, and it's, but what I would say is I'm gauging by the crowd, I'm guessing most of you are yes. But what I'm concerned about is the no voters, and how do we change their vote, and how do you get the information to them? Because what happens, like you said, one thing that we did miss about the community is going to the local hardware store. And that's when Dave Weiler owned it. I did enjoy going there. I did enjoy going to M&M Bakery. The IGA is really nice. It's one of those things that it is a small little community that's nice. And until you're gone, you don't realize what you have. But what happens when people start, everything is exiting out of here. Nobody's around during the day. Nobody's dropping their kids off and then going to the local hardware store. Everybody's in Edgar or wherever. What happens to the businesses?
It's just a snowball effect, everything, once your school closes, or if we would consolidate. Somebody made a good point to me. Once your school closes, who's to say, okay, yep, they're running here, running to Edgar, or there's gonna be a Quick Trip in Marathon City, People are gonna run the Quick Trip, or, I'm not saying that they will, but it's gonna trickle down. There's gonna be less business in Athens, there's gonna be less people here. Why are people gonna wanna move here if there's no school? Like, everything is just gonna snowball, and, you could potentially see a gas station close, the IGA close. Like, the place, I'm not saying that it's going to, but based on some of these other places, some of the towns are kind of crap holes. Like, I don't want this place to turn into that, like, for my generation. Like, all of us grew up here. Well, my classmates and I did, but I don't want this to end up, where there's, a hardware store like Edgar. Edgar, they had a hardware store. I know they're still going, but who's to say that this one can't close? And everything spirals down. So I think that's why, I'm voting yes. Just, if anybody's wondering, just to be clear here, but for my age, I want my friends' kids to go to school here, and I want schools to stay open, and I hope that, people in the community that don't know the severity, that they get an idea, like, holy crap, this might actually happen. And then what's the town gonna offer?
How big a gap was it between the yes and the no in November? 300?
1,927 people voted, and we lost by
I think it was right around 300 votes.
close to 300. So it was 816 said yes, and 1,111 said no.
And a lot of the feedback with that was they didn't want the recurring, and they wanted to see budgets cuts being made, and both of those things have been done. So I think people just need to remember that too, that there are efforts being made to make this more manageable for people. but it is a fact of surviving versus thriving, right? Like, who wants to just survive? We want this community to thrive and our kids and,
It's an identity thing. We are the Blue Jays. Even if we have a good school, if we consolidate, you lose that community sense. And it takes a whole generation for it to build again, so, the other thing, Tim Mickey, I don't know if you ever met Tim, he was excellent, principal, administrator, he showed us the actual form to fill out the request for school funds, or the, what's it called?
Revenue limit worksheet?
Oh. And I remember signing contracts, and my salary wasn't on there yet because they were still waiting for the state to make up their mind. But when he showed me that form, if you wanna get political about anything, I talked to a former assembly person, and she said, and she was a former teacher, and she looked into that, whatever form it was. And she said, I made it my point to understand it, but out of our 99 assemblymen, she thought about 5 or 6 maybe really understood it. Otherwise, they just said, it's what it is, go with it. But Tim said it's so complicated, and there must be an easier way. And I don't, why would they, I don't know enough, but maybe ask questions like that too. Why are rural schools, and I know there's different with the, Tim was very good about educating us. And transportation does make a difference, but we still, okay, I'm done.
I'd like to say one more thing to Linda's point is, I taught at Colby, and it was, at one time it was Door Abbey, and they got mad and they scuttled and they went to, Dorchester went to Colby, which still doesn't make any sense, okay? But anyways, when we would go to skills competitions, which is like an FFA for tech ed, when we go to the competition, it was, where are you from? All the Dorchester kids never said Dorchester. It was, we're from Colby, okay? So pretty soon your town loses identity just through that. It is, I'm not from Colby. When you ask somebody, a former student, if I would ask a former student where they're from, they're not from Dorchester, they'll say I'm from Colby. So part of your identity of your town disappears too.
The last point I just want to make is, Linda made a good point. I think this is a bigger issue, and you mentioned that too. Like, our Wisconsin state is sitting on a $7 billion surplus. So the fact that there's going to be 81 referendum questions on the April ballot across the state, to me that's sickening, right? Like, I think that yes, we're going to feel the immediate impact of this, and we have to do what we have to do at grassroots level to save our schools, but it's a bigger issue that if you're a political person, follow through with that. You know, contact your local legislators, and there's no reason why we're just sitting on that heap of money that we should be going through this right now.
All right, so the challenge, I think, from this meeting then, right? I think everybody's on the same page, that it's grassroots. We're gonna go out and talk to 5 to 10 people, make sure that they understand and are informed. Ask if they have any other questions. We're gonna do the best that we can, right? This is where our pride and joy is, and we all just gotta do it together.
I've got just a quick question. Would it be accurate to say, based on some of the information that people have spoken about today, particularly mill rates, what we're looking at, what other school districts are, would it be accurate to say that if you, when talking to someone, you rephrase these questions in the sense of, the approval is, I want my $600 per 100,000 to go to Athens, versus no means, I want my $600 to go to Edgar? Is that an accurate way to say that?
Hold on, she can't politically say that properly. Trust me, Randy, I tried to get her to say it politically properly last time, the last meeting, just letting you know, she can't say that properly.
We'll answer for you. Yeah.
So just my point being that,
It's gonna go somewhere else.
yes, yeah, where you want to spend this money, if you want to spend it here, you want to give it to Edgar, which I don't think we do, so.
Seriously, I asked her about 10 different ways to say the question. Sorry. I did.
He's persistent.
Well, we like to be respectful of your time. Beth and I will stay here if anybody has individual questions. And again, as Jess said, if everyone spoke to 5 to 10 different people in the community, and if you can't answer a question, email me. I'm good at responding to emails and giving out more facts. Just to clarify, speaking on behalf of the school district administration and school board members, we're held to certain very tight regulations of what we can and can't say. Our role and responsibility is to make sure that we provide the information to our residents and to our voters. We cannot tell you which direction to vote, yes or no, but we can do our very best to give you the information. If there's something that you haven't gotten from tonight's meeting or don't find in another capacity, again, please don't hesitate to reach out. We're happy to communicate that with you as well. So on behalf of our board members that are here, Beth and myself, our campus administrators, thanks for taking the time to become informed, and please do make an informed vote when you go to the polls on April 4th. So thank you very much for your time. Andy.
Where on here is your email?
Well, you can be accessible.
asheridan@athens1.org. Call, we'll email you back. So yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, and please don't hesitate. We'll be here longer if you'd like to chat with us.
But we also, when we put the children's in, we actually made some copies of this if anybody wants it.
Not anything that the district put together or paid for.
Did you put your disclaimer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. You can hand them over.
They move a little further.